I'm Roy Potter, a former U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel. Welcome to the Potter Expositor. Hi ladies and gentlemen, today is October 31st, 2017, and I thought about time for a more formal presentation. And because of the things that are happening, there's so much, obviously, as you know. First things first, the Las Vegas shooting, because we've been spending so much time on that, which we need to, because it's definitely a centerpiece to everything that's coming down the pike. Now, I haven't had a chance to go over some of the information that the rest of the people that I'm working with have come up with at this point. But I wanted to tell you that today, Shepard Ambellas of Intellihub was on Alex Jones. And if you want to get a good handle on what's happening here, you need to go watch that interview. Now, Alex, you know, he still does the same thing. He's constantly interrupting. You know, he asks a really good question, and then he has to throw in his own version of things. Now, he says he knows some details, some inside information that he can't spill, and yet he still throws this out when Shepard has done such a lot of work. So I'm a little disappointed that Alex didn't let him, you know, have the floor like he should have, because Shepard was on the ground and he's done the work. I'm not certain that Shepard is absolutely correct on some of his conclusions, especially thinking that there was gunfire from the helicopters. I'm still not convinced of that. He did point out that they never found any flashes coming from Paddock's room itself, but he did point out about the one next door. And he thought that there were snipers on the roof of the Mandalay, and we also are convinced, of course, as you know, that there was also a bolt-action rifle sniper somewhere down on the Mandalay Convention Center roof. The point of all this is this, okay? Go look at Shepard's thing. I think he does a really fine job. He shows that with the drills that were going on, the FEMA drills and all that, that they could cover on this. And he says that they were paramilitary mercenaries, he thinks, that were doing it. Regardless, the key to breaking who did this, who is responsible for it, isn't at the festival. Okay? It's not the Highway 91 festival, even though that was a horrible, horrible thing that happened there. The key to who did this, you have to look at the airport, at McCarran. And I've hesitated going there. You know, I've told you about that, you know, several times. The FAA not knowing about the flight IDs and other things about the aircraft that were there, how they were masking who they were. You know, we talked about that for a while. Shepard did a very good job on explaining that, I think, showing how the transponders were turned off and then, you know, back on, showing a different type of aircraft. All kinds of things were going on there. Again, who would have the ability to control that? All right, there's only one. And here's the real key point. Like I said, if you want to find out, and we're working on that, I think we're real close. I put out a tweet about it the other day, as a matter of fact, who actually pulled this off. Certainly the government knew about it. Whether or not it was an inside group that did this, or, you know, a government operation, putting all of that into play, the bottom line is, okay, the government helped cover it up. I don't particularly believe at this point that it was an oversight by any particular government agency, okay, by mistake, but on purpose, okay? And Shepard said something else that I think is extremely important. And he's right. When I did, and I brought this up before, when I did the Boston bombing analysis back in 2013, I pointed out that this was indicative of a war in the government between the good guys and the bad guys, for lack of a better term. Okay, they're struggling to have control, and that's what this is. And I've said that before. So again, the secret to breaking this whole thing about what happened is the activity at the airport. Also, I still believe that there was a high value target that they wanted to take out, and that a lot of this had to do with that particular operation. And hopefully we'll have some more information on that in the next few days. But in the meantime, I'd like you to go watch this interview with Shepard Ambellas on Infowars' Alex Jones. He conducted it today, October 31st, and it's the second hour of the show. And he bleeds over a little bit into the third hour. So go look at that, and you'll see all of the things that are really striking here. Again, I'm very positive about the fact that there were fake scenarios going on at the same time the real events are occurring. It was a mixture, it was a hybrid. And that the real key to understanding what happened here is what happened on the west side of the airport, McCarran Airport. That's the key to understanding it. And hopefully, one of our guys who were working on this, actually Scott Anthony, put it out. I think I told you that they're pretty sure they've identified, the details on some of that. So we're still hoping that we can put something out more formal here in the next few days. But I think to get a real good indication of what's going on, you cannot ignore Shepard Ambellas's evaluation and analysis, all the hard work that he's done on this, and watch him on Infowars with his interview with Alex Jones. Another thing that they said, of course, is that this is the beginning of November coming up. November 4th is just a few days away, and we had a shooting last night at the University of Utah. You may have seen that. The circumstances, I haven't seen a whole lot of information again on that now. It's probably, been twisted, or maybe they found the suspect. I'm not even sure. But the reason why I bring it up is because Stephen Crowder, Louder with Crowder, had done some work here a month or two back where he had a guy infiltrate Antifa and actually recorded them saying that they were going to bring AK-47s and knives to that area up there by the University of Utah. They didn't really give a time element about when that would happen, but that it was in the plans. So whether or not this actually was an Antifa attack, that doesn't matter as much as just understanding that they talked about that they would do this type of thing, and I think you're going to see a lot of things start happening. Ambellas mentioned that a lot of gun stores were apparently broken into during this whole thing in Vegas. A lot of other things that were going on. I don't think that they would need to steal weapons necessarily to arm Antifa and these leftist groups. I'm pretty sure they could get them other ways, but that's still it's still a possibility that they could use that as a cover to get some more weapons. Of course, that's certainly a possibility. So there are a lot of, as we were saying, elements to this entire thing. So it started October 1. The shooting at the festival there at Mandalay was kind of the kickoff, obviously. And if ISIS is involved, it's just part of the entire operation involving Antifa, Black Lives Matter, all the leftist side of this whole thing that's going on. So I think we can anticipate that we're going to see a lot more in the next few days and continuing. Of course, with the objective of these people is chaos and to show that Trump can't govern. That's basically what the purpose is. And to eventually, remove him either by force or by some, pseudo-legal maneuver or whatever, regardless. And of course, an attack on Trump is an attack on the people that believe in and support the constitutional republic of the United States, because the left and all of our enemies, Soros, the CFR, the New World Order, all of those things want to end the perfect law of liberty as it's being, as we've tried to cultivate it and get it to grow here. They want to stop that because it's counter to the Luciferian satanic system of complete control and force. All right, well, I don't want to take a whole lot of time on this. I just wanted to let you know that we think that we've pretty well identified this thing out as far as the perpetrators. I'm still waiting for the last little bit of information on that. But there's no doubt that the airport is what's central to this. A lot of people are talking about flights landing in, as a matter of fact, Shepard does this as well. Shepard Ambellas talks about what he thinks is a paramilitary force loading up on the helicopters in the Harley-Davidson area. Remember, with this whole thing going on at the airport, they wouldn't want the helicopters to come into the danger zone if they had tourists, so they're going to land somewhere else. And then possibly, you could get these different police SWAT teams loaded up on those things. I'm not saying that's what happened, because he points out very well here that one of those aircraft actually changes its transponder and call sign. Okay, so what this means is that this is a group inside the government, whether they wanted to say it or not. This is a group inside the government that has people that will help them control things, just like 9/11. As I pointed out in a video several videos ago, or maybe in several videos, that there are people there who are helping these things to happen. Okay, that they are in places where they can make decisions and do things so that they can assist in this civil war, which is really what it is. And like I said some time ago, the shooting will start in the government, and in a lot of ways it already has. But now it's spilling out seriously against the people of the United States, the American people. And so you have to be aware of things that are going on around you. I talked about it in a Periscope the other night on how to prepare for the Antifa thing. Situational awareness is so important. Okay, keep your wits about you, and if you can be armed, be so, but don't be offensive with it. Don't go on the offensive. I'm not going to get into a whole lot of detail on that. Okay, it started. This thing has kicked off, and I think we're going to see some really difficult times very, very quickly. And again, go watch Shepard Ambellas on Infowars, Alex Jones. He's done a really good job. Another person that is Jake Morphonios of End Times News or End Times Reporting, whichever it is. Actually, a lot of people have done a lot of good work. And a lot of them caught on real quick to what was going on at the airport, and that was key. And it's going to be key on solving this whole thing. That's going to be the actual lead that's going to show us the exact people that pulled this off. And they're going to be associated with the government, either completely or partially. Absolutely, it has to be, because, first of all, who could do this with the help of the FAA, and who has the ability to cover it up? Okay, so obviously that's the case. All right, just a quick update. Get your preparations, your provisions, make some plans to make sure you have some friends around you, family, that you can protect each other, and get ready, because I think this thing is going to get hot pretty quick. Pray that it doesn't. You know, the whole Mueller thing, there are a lot of questions there on whose side he's really on. You know, I see this fight going on between, for instance, Alex Jones and Infowars and some others. I won't mention who they are here, but there are a lot of people that are saying, well, you know, Mueller's actually going after the Podesta brothers, and that'll eventually lead to Hillary, but Manafort was in with them a few years ago. At this point, I think that's true, but how it actually plays out is going to be another thing. There could be a lot of double crosses both ways right here, and I don't know which way it's going to go. The best way to figure out how a person will act is what they've done in the past. And when I look at Mueller, I don't see a lot of good, even despite the fact that some people say he's a really good man. Maybe he had a change of heart and he's playing a part. But at this point in time, the deceit, and I've said this before too, deceit is everywhere, everywhere. So you can't trust what you see or hear anymore. You have to see with your heart, not necessarily with your head. So I'll just leave that with you, and God bless you all. I hope that you'll get through this and safely, and that we can move along towards the good things on the other side. But we'll see at this point. Okay, out here.